On today's episode of the Buckeye Roast, big news on the coaching front as Ohio State makes a new hire on the defensive side of the ball. We'll break down who it is, what it means as a unit for this season. We also have scrimmage notes from Columbus and around the country. Who stood out, who's making a push, and where the biggest battles stand today. Plus, Ryan Day says he hopes to name a starting quarterback soon. We'll discuss the timing, the candidates, and what it means heading into week one. I'm Chris Drew. This is the Buckeye Roast with Ron and Q right here on Dead Air Sports.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are back for another episode of the Buckeye Roast. It's your boy Ron James here with my guy QPK. Q, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. Solid weekend. It's back to football.
How was your weekend? I know you probably enjoyed it extra because there was no chance that you might accidentally watch another team other than Ohio State. It just might be out on TV in the bars. You were able to peacefully just go out and not see college football. So did you enjoy your weekend?
Nothing I love more than missing out on college football, watching one game a week. So favorite time of year, man. I dread when the season starts and I actually got to watch some games.
Yeah, I mean, see, Q's still in the off season. I am in full season mode. Your boy was on a podcast yesterday. I did a 90-minute show on the No Scholarship podcast with Kieran Hickey Sample of Overtime, big Texas fan. You guys have probably seen him all over TikTok, all over the 7 on seat, bro. I'm such an SFE show. I almost called it the SFE broadcast. It is the OT7 broadcast. You see Kieran on there. If you want to check that out, be sure to go ahead and find that on Twitter, the No Scholarship podcast. But we got plenty to talk about, Q. Ready to get into it?
Yeah, play the intro. Let's go.
Q, the Buckeyes have a new hire, but there's a tweet going viral on the timeline that I wanted to get to first, and I wanted to get your thoughts. College Football Nerds put out a tweet where they said Ohio State fans do not care about losing to Michigan last year in the way that Michigan fans are convinced that they do. So, Q, I had to get your opinion here. Is he right? Do the Buckeyes not care about this Michigan loss in the way that Michigan fans think Buckeye fans care?
Yeah, I think College Football Nerds used to watch a little more of the Buckeye Roast and Minutes of Sports and other programs like the 247 because the other outrage, and I felt this coming in. As soon as we lost that game, I was like, Monday's going to be a rough show, and you just know the week is going to go bad. I literally have people who watch the show tell me, I'm trying to escape the negativity. I might tune out for a couple days because it gets that bad. So I don't know where they're getting this pulse from, but whatever Ohio State fans they know, they're not Ohio State fans.
Oh, well, apparently I'm not an Ohio State fan because after we got that natty, I was cooling. Like, do I want to beat Michigan? Absolutely, but you're not taking away my celebration for the offseason. I quote tweeted this tweet with the picture of Homer Simpson sleeping with the Buckeye sheets and the national championship national championship trophy in the bed with them because that's how I feel right now. I felt like they hit the nail on the head as far as capturing my sentiment, and I do feel like I'm definitely in the minority of Buckeye fans that feel this way, and I do feel like what you said is correct for the majority of Buckeye fans, but I'm over here like no one is taking my joy. The only thing in college football that could steal my joy for how I feel coming off the national championship is the Buckeyes going out there and looking like they can't win another national championship. Until I'm riding high, like the only thing that can upset me is bad play from my team, and I don't anticipate seeing that anytime soon. Fingers crossed, but I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority. Am I crazy? Should I be more mad about this Michigan loss?
I mean, I would say Michigan fans are trying to make believe like we didn't just go out and win a natty. Like both sides is true. Like, yeah, we're upset about the Michigan game. I mean, when we talked about it this year, we're like, all right, they run a natty. Only thing it needs to do next year is beat Michigan, and that was said by you, me, and the audience. So we do agree with that, but we're not going all in and saying, oh, we didn't even win a natty because we didn't beat Michigan, so it doesn't even count. Like nobody cares about that. Like I'll take my natty trophy. It may have a little blemish on it or a little scratch, but does that affect it? Is it still a natty trophy? I'm sure that 2014 trophy isn't pristine. I'm sure somebody marked it up, but wipe it off and it still counts. So
we need to hire someone with white gloves to walk around with that national championship trophy. Because like when we talk about how nitpicky we get around here, like every time I see that trophy, I'm like, can someone wipe that thing off? Like all those grubby hands all over our national championship. And I'm like, yeah, can someone with a towel, someone with some white gloves, like, can we get this trophy clean? I don't want to see. I feel like my mom yelling at me in the summers when I was a kid about like keeping my hands off her windows, like me just standing at the window. Like I see those type of fingerprints all over the natty. I'm like, clean that thing up.
No, very, very true. I'm sure they got an extra $100,000 laying around to pay a guy to do that. So just apply for it on OSU Athletics.
Special teams coordinator, special events coordinator, white glove man, a man of many hats. Even though I only wear one on this show, I would take any of those jobs.
Yeah, me too. We'll put our resumes in and we'll see what happens.
Exactly. Let's see if they get back to us. Until then, I guess we're going to have to just keep talking about the Buckeyes on this show. The Buckeyes are on a spending spree, not in recruiting. If you ask Buckeye fans, not very happy. It seems like the Buckeyes are out on the Braylon Womack recruitment. It sounds like price just too high. Things could change, but doesn't seem like the Buckeyes are spending there. But their wallets are not completely closed. The Buckeyes go out and hire former Dolphins defensive coordinator Josh Boyer. The Buckeyes now have 3 former NFL defensive coordinators on staff. Q, what are your thoughts on the hire?
Yo, my first thoughts is maybe we need to stop trying to recruit these guys and just hire them for jobs and let them play for the team. Like, if they really need to hire guys, hey, you're a 5-star tackle. Well, your new job's custodian at the Woody. Here's $200,000. Like
the janitors union in Columbus that also happens to be the greatest football team ever assembled.
That's what I was. What do you want, Parker Fleming, or you want a 5-star? Like, I'm pretty sure.
He's like, who needs collectives? They need a union boss.
No, man. What it seems like the staff over the last couple of years, this is even going back to the Jim Knowles era, they have gone all in on staff and defense of getting guys to line up. I mean, getting another defensive coordinator, what does that make? 3 former coordinators on the staff now, or coordinators at other positions. I mean, other places. So more NFL guys, the better. We've always talked about it, and Chris Drew preaches this. NFL is so much different when you're just trying to get an advantage and you go to college and you're like, wow, I picked all the kids first at recess, and you're over there with the wimpy kid who's clearly going to get hit first with a dodgeball. So Josh Boyer comes in, Miami Dolphins. So I'm excited to see what you think about this and his background and thinking, how can it help our defense?
I mean, it's exciting to see Matt Patricia get one of his guys in here. Boyer, before he was at the Dolphins from 2020 to 2022. He was with the Patriots from 2006 to 2018. A lot of time spent with Matt Patricia. We saw with the addition of Matt Guerrieri. Jesus, I don't say his name often. I just call him MG. We see the addition of MG on the staff and how that helped Jim Knowles having one of his guys there, someone familiar with the system. And you see an NFL mind join the staff and someone that's familiar with the defensive coordinator. I saw Mark Gibler had a tweet, and it was just one word. Or 2 words, actually. Seems additive. And I agree. It seems like it's going to be a plus add for the Buckeyes, and it's going to make this team better. And the fact that they're willing to spend on the support staff is encouraging. And I feel like once things shake out with NIL and they have a good picture of what the future in the landscape is going to look like, the Buckeyes are going to be all in spending too on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Well, at least we know we have something in the piggy bank. That's all
the well is not completely dry.
And I think they still left $200,000 for that special teams coordinator / entertainment position. So we're still in the running.
Still waiting to hear back. So I text Juck maybe 2-3 months ago, and I said, it feels like Ryan Day already has a plan post Larry Johnson. And this is just one of those random Ron deep thoughts in the offseason, thinking about the program as a whole. And I just said to Juck, I'm like, if Larry was staying past this year, he would have gotten an extension already. If that was the plan to bring Larry back, Ryan Day would have already given him the extension. It seems like the plan was and always has been to let Larry finish out his contract, which would be this last season.
Yeah.
But if the plan was they had a guy in the room that they were comfortable with replacing Larry and Alan Clark, who departed for Texas, a departure that a lot of Buckeye fans weren't happy about. If the plan was to have him as Larry's replacement, it seems hard to believe that the Buckeyes weren't able to convince him to wait one more year to take over for a legend and be the guy here in Columbus. So I'm like, I don't know what the plan is, but it does seem like Ryan Day has a plan. Fast forward to 2 episodes ago on Juck, he's talking about how much he loves what Ryan Day did with this offensive line and going out and getting 3 Power 5 offensive line coaches and bringing them in here and being able to have many eyes on this offensive line that has so many players in that room. Jake Butt came and gave that camp report where he said it felt like they had an offensive line coach for every 2 offensive linemen. So the Buckeyes go out and completely invest in this offensive line. And Juck asked, what if Ryan Day goes out and does the same thing on the defensive side of the ball? And I just wanted to get your thoughts. How would you like to see the potential replacement of Larry Johnson not be a single person, not be 2 people, potentially even 3 people after the way that we've seen the Buckeyes spend, and then you see them go out and get Josh Boyer? It seems like the Buckeyes are truly invested in the support staff. Could you see the Buckeyes taking a similar approach when replacing Larry Johnson as they did when they replaced Justin Fry?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, the way the staff is now, and as you can have as many guys as you want and pull from any field you want, especially with Ohio State level check. I would love almost at every position group if you get a young guy who's going to hit the road, recruit. Maybe it's a young and up-and-coming star. I mean, I'm sure Ryan Day has a little short list, but maybe it's a coach at a SEC school where you say, hey, this guy's really putting in recruits. Maybe his development isn't there yet, but he's a rock star on the trail. Okay, let me also partner him with an older NFL defensive line coach who really knows how to develop. Maybe he doesn't want to hit the trail, like Larry Johnson. Like maybe he just wants to be in the lab and develop. And also let me get another guy who maybe is a rush edge specialist and can do certain things or add in, certain positions. I mean, they did it a little bit last season and you felt like, oh, Larry Johnson finally got some help. Now they fired a guy before camp started. So that may not have worked out how they wanted to, but I think that's kind of how you build staff certain positions. You have as much positions as you want. At Ohio State, I mean,
how about everybody gets their own coach? You know what I mean? Like fairy godparents, everybody gets 2 coaches. You get a coach. You get a coach.
Yeah, 2 minds have to be better than 1, they say. So I feel like that's just how you should build your college football staff. Get a guy who's going to get guys in the door. Get a guy who can really just develop and work on things, and go get a specialist and go from there. That's how I would build a defensive line if I was hiring.
It almost feels like at Ohio State that they're not building a college program anymore. This feels like an NFL organization. Like for years and years and years, you would hear the phrase program. This doesn't feel like a program. This feels like an organization. It feels like Ohio State has a plan that they're going to stick to and that they're confident in, and they're going in that direction and not being deterred from their path or plan based on what everyone else is doing in college football.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing this is missing out of an NFL franchise is salary minimum.
Organization is what the phrase that we're using around here. We're retiring program. We have elevated past program, and we are an NFL organization around here.
Yeah, we just need that salary minimum for a roster. And I feel like
you started with Ron. I thought that was going for Ron. We need that salary minimum for Ron, and then we'll really have things rolling around here.
Yeah, talk to Dead Air Sports HR. But yeah, I mean, it does have that feeling. Like we said, Ryan Day was an NFL guy. A lot of people question, oh, does Ryan Day even want to be in college? He said, I'm just going to bring the NFL here. I'm way comfortable now. I got a natty trophy and I got everything I want. So I'm happy with it. But yeah, that's how I think the program should be moving. And it feels like it's going in the right
organization.
Direction. Organization should be moving. Oh my goodness. But I mean, what are your thoughts? You're different or you right along with me?
No, I'm right in line with you. We've been doing this show for 3 years now. And what is my thing? If the only thing in the way of the Buckeyes achieving something they want to do is money, what are we talking about? Like, pull up, have Brutus will the printers out, get the printing press out, and start running off those Buckeye bucks, because we know the money is endless in Columbus. We have the largest athletic department in the country. So I don't want to hear that money is stopping anything from happening in Columbus when we have 16 more sports than the University of Florida, and we're competing with them to win national championships. Like, if we can afford that many Olympic sports, we better have money for everything else. And we do. That's the thing. When we talked about the Gene Smith dilemma, people thought I was saying, oh, cut sports. No, Ohio State don't have to cut sports. Other schools might have to cut sports. That means we're just going to have to reach deeper into the couch cushions and pull that cash out, because there's no shortage of cash around this program. So no excuses. There's no reason why they shouldn't continue to invest in their staff like this. And I love to see it. Spending like they want it. Like it seems like it might just mean a little bit more up north these days.
Man, I just can't wait for the moment in my life where I'm be like, if the only thing standing in the way is money, what are we talking about?
I mean, unless you plan on being the largest state university in the state of Ohio, I don't think you're ever going to be in that position. But for this organization, I feel like kind of the case.
The only thing that's standing between me and this Lambo truck is money. What are we talking about? Run it up.
Swipe.
Oh man, we'll check back in 5 years to see if we got those Ferraris at the Christmas party. But until now, we'll operate on the budget.
Ross Bjork is watching this like, hey, you've never been to one of my budget meetings. Like, sounds good in practice until you try to balance a budget.
Oh man, that's too funny. Hey man, spend the money. I'm right with you. But it feels like Ohio State's going the right direction. Hopefully we see it trickle down a little bit. Get it to the players.
Here goes Q and his trickle-down economics before he gets started. I want to pivot to scrimmage notes. Lots of news and notes around the country, except for at the Ohio State. That is turned into Fort Knox, apparently. It's impossible to get notes or information out of the Woody these days, but we did get a few notes. If you look at the thumbnail for the show, it says quarterback battle over? Question mark? Because Ryan Day recently came out and said that he hopes to name a starter with 2 weeks to go before going into the Texas game. He wants to have a starter that has 2 weeks to prepare with this offense. The notes coming out of the scrimmage saying look sharp. It seems to be a pattern of what we've been hearing post-practice 3 of Julian Sayin looking pretty consistent with this offense, but they also noted that Lincoln was able to have a long sustained drive with the offense during the scrimmage. Cardinal Tate talked to the media this week and said it's a little difficult for the offense to get going with this rotation of quarterbacks. Q, does it feel like we're going to get a starter named here soon?
I would have to say I hope so. What is the magic date? Is it the 18th? Is that?
I'm glad that you asked about the date, Q.
Go for it.
If I could remember what layer it is, it's that one. Third time's the charm. But we have a list of the dates in the history behind Ryan Day naming starting quarterbacks at Ohio State. Will Howard named the earliest, August 15th. Kyle McCord named the latest, August 29th. CJ Stroud, August 21st. Justin Fields, August 19th. If you look at the pattern of when Ryan Day named his starting quarterback, the earlier he names his starting quarterback, the further the team goes in the season. Right now, the next time Ryan Day will speak to the media post-scrimmage, post scrimmage 2 would be August 18th, which would put him after Will Howard, but before Justin Fields. Justin Fields made it to a national championship. Will Howard won a national championship. If Ryan Day names a starting quarterback on the 18th, Q, how you feeling?
I think we just cracked what was it, the Da Vinci Code.
It's like science. Like, I'm doing the math over here.
I think we just cracked it. But we just got to get them before the 18th or before and guaranteed natty. Yeah, man. I mean, even I look at Justin Fields, I'm like the 19th, like he beat out no one for that position.
Matt Baldwin would take great offense to that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it feels like he wants to as early as possible. I mean, obviously, Kyle McCord won the quarterback battle the last week before the game. So,
however, they were still rotating quarterbacks by week 3. So, did he actually win it, or did he just get named the starter?
He just got named the starter. But I think from what it sounds like, Julian Sayin is doing what we thought he would do. We thought early on camp he may struggle, bullets may be flying, and as later into camp, he's going to get more comfortable. Now, it does worry me that Carnell Tate says it's hard to get comfortable. And that's not something you necessarily want to hear. You want to hear, oh, both guys are balling out. It's a tough decision. If he's saying, man, we need a quarterback. Look, man, I'm trying to get my stats up.
Does it make you question if he means, what are we doing? Like, bro, if you don't let me start playing with my starter, or do you think that he just wants anybody so they can get a rhythm? Or do you feel like they have a sentiment inside the Woody of who it is at this point?
I mean, I feel like, the players know, man. How long ago Denzel Burke say, we knew a year before Carnell Tate played that he should have been playing. Like, I don't think it's that hard. We said it a lot. You go with the guy with the upside, especially when the more veteran guy doesn't necessarily seem like he's ready to go too, and he's still learning. I mean, I think this is a good time for Lincoln to really develop. I mean, we're in year 3 of the Lincoln Project, which sounds so official. So I think it is a good
Lincoln
time
Project. I think that's something else, Q.
I mean, hey, not in Ohio Airways.
They have that filtered out.
I think I just hit a copyright. Sorry, Chris. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's carving out a role, but I think we're all comfortable in saying we need a guy with the upside. We're going to have any chance of going with a repeat. And it sounds like Julian Sayin is doing the things that we suspected he would do. And if Ryan Day is comfortable enough on the 18th, you got to feel confident. I don't mind really any of these dates. I just don't want it to be the 29th because we play on the 30th.
I mean, he could pull the Urban and like, I'm gonna let them know after the corn flip.
Just go a little earlier than that for me, please. But I think camp is going how we thought it would.
If you had to bet all of your Arvell Reese stock that you have remaining on if Ryan Day will name someone on the 18th and who that would be, how much of your Arvell Reese stock, I know you have a fortune of it, how much would you be willing to wager?
Ooh, that's not even the question I thought you'd ask. I thought you asked if Ryan Day in his head right now knows who he's going to name. Like, does he know or does he know yet? For both, I would wager a good amount of my Arvell Reese stock that the 18th is probably the date. I feel like Ryan Day, he's comfortable with it. He doesn't need to second guess himself. We're not going to get the Kyle McCord where he was Mr. Second Guess. He's learned that. He's got a natty now. I say lock in the 18th, put it on the sports books, and go on vacation with me with all my Arvell Reese stock.
Oh, see, is that a trick? You're gonna give them all your Arvell Rice stock and then keep all the Arvell Reese stock? See, I see you're not slick. You change one letter in the contract, and then it changes everything.
My Arvell Roast stock will be up for bid.
The Arvell Roast coming soon after his Hall of Fame career. It's gonna put us out of business. The Arvell Roast in the morning.
You gave me these penny stocks. It's not what I wanted.
So then, if you're confident that he's going to name a starter on the 18th, how are you equally as confident in knowing who it is?
I mean, if it's not Julian Sayin, I've said it since the start of camp, I will be very surprised. Like I will be shocked. But I mean, that also tells me Lincoln he had to jump and really do some balling out. I'm going to look at the positive on both sides, but I would be shocked if it's not Julian Sayin.
Yeah, I lean that way. I'm already starting to gather all of my Madagascar King Julian clips, all of all of my Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan clips. I have too much invested preseason into Saiyan content. So fingers crossed, I'm gonna have to pivot hard to, Mount Rushmore, South Dakota style content if that is the case.
I mean, Ron, we ask this question every basically off season and training camp. How often is it that we cannot literally, me and you, sit down and pencil in the starters for the Ohio State?
It's so funny you brought this up because I just had this argument with Cam, who gets caught up in the quarterback battle and the hype and all of the media nonsense that happens from the end of the season to the start of the season, and it feels like me and you talk the day after every season and go, yeah, blank is the starter. And it's like we then spend 7 months trying to hold steady and not let anyone shake us off of our position of who we believe the starter has been. And that person that we presume to be the starter at the end of the season has been exactly who it's been every single year since we've known each other. So even if there are valid points against it, even if someone is vastly improved, it has become so predictable in the timeline and how Ryan Day plans this quarterback room that it takes an extraordinary effort to jump that process. And and everything about last year seemed to indicate that the plan was for Julian to be next. You watched the departure of the backup quarterback who we watched come in Michigan State, the guy that would have came in during the playoffs if the national championship was still on the line. It would have been Devin Brown. They let him walk. He is now at Cal. The next guy that we saw take the most snaps was Julian Sayin. If this was the guy that they didn't plan to have next in line and there was a possibility that Lincoln had this opportunity, you would have thought you would have saw more of a rotation with those reps and an effort to get Lincoln on the field. So for Lincoln to win this job, I felt like it would have taken something extraordinary from him this offseason. And kudos to him, because it sounds like he has made a leap that has made this even a question that we are talking about a serious quarterback battle. And you have people that have been at practice, myself included, that have said, even if Lincoln wins this job, the Buckeyes are going to compete for a national championship, regardless of who this quarterback is. So, I don't take my hat off, but I love the phrase, hats off to Lincoln and the fact that he has made this as close as it has. But like you said, it feels like for years now, we have known who the starter is going to be the day after the season ends.
Yeah.
And then we spend an entire offseason having people lob ideas at us and try to shake us from the common sense position of what it seems to be the Buckeyes have been indicating for a year now, that the plan is Julian Sayin.
Yeah, I mean, I think me and Chris might have talked about it in the second day of the program, and that there was 500 people live in that show. It was somewhere between 500 and 1,000, and we asked the crowd, when's the last time someone lost a position battle? And the best they could come up with was Denzel Burke, who only played because the guys in front of him got hurt, and he walked in week 1 and just didn't give up the position. I mean, the only other guy I can really think of was when Marcus Hooker started over Josh Proctor, and we see how that decision turned out. So keep the path, just keep the path going. Let's not do that. So, but
keep the lane assist on.
If that's the alternative, just give me the starter at the end of the season, and I'll be ready for next season.
Well, I wanted to pivot from the Buckeyes. I'm sure as more news comes out of the Woody, we will have plenty to talk about. I mean, the other things that come out of practice, I feel like I need to put it on a soundboard, Riley Pettichon, good. It seems like every time someone talks to media, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, Riley Pettichon's great. So it almost needs to be a disclaimer at the beginning of the video, at the beginning of rap videos, all of these weapons are props. It's at the start of the show, Riley Pettichon is good. Got that out of the way. I don't dude, does everybody want us to come on and repeat it every time that it's said? I don't know, but I'm going to continue doing it until everybody's like, all right, We get it. Like, he's good.
I mean, we literally just watched that Pro Football Focus video right before the show, and they were like, Devin Sanchez.
Great at football. I'm like, wow, what amazing analysis, guys. Tell me more.
Said nothing about anything Devin Sanchez has done since he's got to on campus. Basically, he's 6'2". He runs a 10.52 in high school. He's got the length and athleticism, and they said he's doing good at camp. Like, he was told us nothing that we didn't know before he showed up.
And that's why, like, I'm confused. Like, as the audience listened to us, like, I know you've told us every episode that Riley Pettijohn's good. I'm like, I'm telling you what they're saying. Like, that's what they said. They told me to tell you. I'm just reporting the news.
It's Fort Knox in there. Fort Knox,
so
truly.
If anybody since the last time they told us Riley Pettijohn was great, 72 hours ago, if anyone was worried if anything changed, was reinforced, still great.
Oh man, that's too funny. But
go ahead.
Oh, go for it.
No, I was gonna say, let's get into some of the national notes. Buckeye fans furious that we're getting more camp notes from other schools than we are from our own. But reports out of Texas, the defense was dominant. Arch struggled except for a big play to Ryan Wingo late in the scrimmage. Q, does that excite you or does it worry you? Are you more excited about the struggles that you're hearing from Texas's offense, or are you worried about this defense being legit?
Ron, I have a question for you. And I just thought about this as you were reading that. We've heard about the Arch Manning project for 3 years now. If Arch Manning flops, and it's just, we've seen Quinn Ewers, who wasn't very good at Texas, not get dethroned last year. We've seen Arch Manning come in. He got a little bit of time. He played well against nobody and nobody tech. Like, I just want to throw this question out there. If Arch Manning flops a little bit, and I'm not going to say he'll be terrible, because I don't think that'll be the case. But if he is just an average quarterback, how much egg on the faces of Sark?
No, they'll lie. If he's only for them to not lie to us and blame everyone else, he's going to have to be disastrously terrible. And I don't think that's going to happen. So if he's just average, they're going to lie and tell us that we don't know what we're looking at. But Q, I'm the king of non-football football analysis. And I am in the throes of highlight season right now because, like, I'm in the process of standing up a TikTok, and I've just been watching only highlights. So I haven't seen anyone be terrible. And I am, like, buying the hype on quarterbacks that can dance. And I don't know if it's because they're actually good at football or if it makes my job as an editor that much easier that I'm becoming fans of them. And two people that are out here dancing their asses off on TikTok, Arch Manning and Garrett Nussmeier. Are they good quarterbacks? I don't know. Decent TikTokers. So if the whole quarterback thing doesn't work out, may have a career on the gram or on TikTok.
Hey, as soon as he dropped that video dancing, it was QB1 in the draft.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Let us get a white quarterback that can Dougie in Columbus, bro. That endless money printer, they're gonna have it in his dorm room, like the way that Josh Rosen had a hot tub in his dorm room. Just bring the money printer here. I don't even need a bank. Just give me the printer.
Oh my God. All right, getting us back on topic because I'm the king of getting us off topic. The defensive line is cooking. The offensive line is struggling at Texas. I think we felt like Texas defensively was bringing a lot of guys back, and we're going to be one of the best in the country, if not the best in the country, coming back in. Now, Columbus will have something to say about that, but I feel like this is normal as camp goes. I don't really want to hear Arch struggling. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. Julian Sayin, I'm okay with it. Barely played, 1 year in the program. I feel like Arch probably needs to pick it up a bit, especially coming into Columbus. But as far as the defensive line, the offensive line is kind of the way I expected it to go.
It seems like the Buckeyes are going to be facing off against a top 3 front seven in the sport. Would you have rather had this matchup later in the year when the Buckeyes are more of a formed product, or are you excited to see how the Buckeyes match up against a national title contender in week 1?
I always kind of want to get these, and this is not even just for the Buckeyes, but just as far as like early season games go. Man, I would love to see like a Georgia week 4 versus an Ohio State week 4. Like have a couple games under your belt and like really kind of fill yourselves out before you take your biggest swing at the opponent, because literally you could just not know what you have until you like blunder the game, especially early on, or overcompensate for something or undercompensate for something. So I would, if it was me, I would love to see Texas, Ohio State week 3, have a couple games. I mean, we got plenty on the schedule to warm up. So, but they just put them later. But I'm like, man, I would love to see it a week 3 versus a week 1, because I feel like Arch Manning will have his identity. Who's ever started for Ohio State will have their identity. The defense will have time. New coordinators can adjust, and then you can really see how good these teams are.
I want to pivot, but I want to stick in the SEC. We did a fun exercise after the show the other day that we're going to have to make a segment on the show where we went and revisited the Ron 3 5-star rankings and my recruiting rankings from the 2023 class, where I ranked the top 35 players in the class. Not too bad. Some terrible misses, awful misses, but hey, happens to everybody. But one of those 5 stars on there was a running back that the Buckeyes were heavily interested in and did not end up with the Buckeyes. Alabama running back Richard Young. And I'm reading the offensive report, and he's entering year 3 as a Ron 3 5-star, a borderline 5-star in some other rankings. And it seems like he's going to be maybe running back 2, potentially slipping to 3. How taken back are you by the fact that Richard Young hasn't asserted himself? Because you also look at the other running back in that class that the Buckeyes were going after in Justice Haynes. He's at Michigan now. So what we thought was going to be one of the most dynamic running back tandems in the country, a package deal that Buckeye fans were losing their mind over. We're never going to see that tandem together at Alabama, and it doesn't seem like Richard Young is going to take the reins this season as the lead back at Alabama. How wrong did you get that analysis?
Oh, I was very wrong. I was 100% in the dream class of like, man, I know we can't get both because we can't afford it, or there's not enough space, but I would love a Justice Haynes, Richard Young. Like, that is my running back duo. Look a month later, they're both committed to Bama. Like, how do they do that? How did they get them both? There's no way. Man, I was so bought into Richard Young. I just thinking about it randomly. I'm like, I think we talked about it before. Maybe the show started. But I'm like, what happened to Richard Young? Like, I just feel like I haven't even heard about this guy. And I know guys get buried the way Bama recruits. Guys get buried on the depth chart. But I'm like, I feel like I would have heard something or seen a highlight or Richard Young is breaking out. It's just been like crickets.
And I don't know, man. I'm still pulling for the kid. Going into fall camp, it was anticipated that he would be RB2, but you're hearing some other names start to bubble up in Tuscaloosa. So that'll be something to keep an eye on this season. Still no starter name there. Something that, it's going to be Ty Simpson. Like, let's be serious. What are your thoughts on Ty Simpson? I feel like Julian Sayin, if you talk about having a plan and what it looked like, Julian Sayin was in that plan. Ty Simpson, now the guy at Alabama. What do you expect from that team this season?
Honestly, Grubb is back. It's a really big season for the board at Alabama. I feel like last season, what kind of high were we talking about him riding when they beat Georgia? We we're like, yo, if he's beating Georgia now, like, look out. And unfortunately, the next week they didn't look out. It took L. So it was like, don't breathe the rat poison. All they did was take the rat poison. I feel like DeVore, in his second year, he may have, gotten a little away from that post-Nick Saban fire. But truly, if Ty Simpson and DeVore did not turn it up this season, especially with Grubb having his guy back, we got to the Natty with at Washington. If they are not in the SEC championship game, I feel like Alabama fans will be out and about saying, man, this was a bad hire. Even though me and you think DeVore is a really good coach, that's not enough at Bama. At Ohio State, the pressure's on, and Alabama, they're insane in the pressure zone. Like they're just a little bit crazier because ain't nothing in Alabama but Alabama football.
If you don't get this thing right, Brian Hartline's going to be the head coach at Alabama, and DeBoer is going to be our new offensive coordinator.
Swap it out. It's like, I mean, really, there's nothing in Alabama but Alabama football in the college called Auburn. So they have nothing else. The Flames is hot.
The Flames are hot. The sentiment around college football this weekend was that defense rolled the scrimmages for every team pretty much that we got practice reports from. The few notes that we got out of Georgia was that their defensive line dominated the scrimmage. Q.
Postage note. Georgia defensive line good.
Where else are you going to get breaking analysis like that? And I had to sign into a paywall to read that.
Oh, man.
Why would you pay for a paywall when you could come here and get breaking analysis like Georgia defensive line good, Riley Pettijohn good at football? Like, where else are you going to get this outstanding analysis that you can't find anywhere else? You actually can. You can find it a lot of places, usually for $9.99, or you can just watch our show for free. All we ask is that you subscribe here at Dead Air Sports, follow us on Twitter, hit that notification bell, and you can watch us laugh as people, myself included, pay $10 so I could repeat that Georgia's defensive line is good.
If the title of this video is not Camp Reports Will Shock You, I will be disappointed.
Camp Reports will shock you. Georgia has good large humans on their football team.
Oh, man. I mean, that's kind of what Georgia does. But, I mean, as much as I feel that for Alabama, how big of a season is it for Kirby Smart? I mean, their defense is going to be stacked with talent. I mean, I feel like Kirby Smart is like, I could fart on the track and it goes platinum mode right now. Like, you won 2 national championships at Georgia, more than they had in 40 years. Like, bro, if someone complains to me about having an off season, I'd kindly go tell them F themselves. I mean, you say that in a way, but I feel like because he had that success, Georgia now knows they can do it. I mean, they're like, man, Nick Saban's gone. Our really only kryptonite.
Is he gone? Is he gone? Is there a new Saban in town?
Oh my God. I mean, I feel like
rehabilitation. Come stand next to Ryan Day, get $6 million. Like, is there a new Saban in town?
Well, not in the SEC, apparently. Maybe there's one in the Big Ten. But as far as SEC fans will go, they say, if Nick Saban was not here, we would have had 5 national championships. So I feel like it's a big year for Georgia. Not that I feel like they'll throw Kirby Smart out in the woods for, maybe underachieving or going 9-3, whatever you would call it. But I don't know. For me, it feels like a lot of coaches who have been around for a while, Dabo included, who's supposed to have a loaded roster this season and spinning the block. It's a time for some people to restamp their passports. They'd expired a little bit. They're like, man, you need to re-up this passport and get it going again. So, yeah, it's time for some coaches out there in college football.
Yeah, more notes from the SEC. Tennessee defense controlled the day, but both sides of the ball were limited with injuries. George McIntyre outplayed Joey Aguilar, who's the projected starter, but George McIntyre was going against the twos the majority of the day. Joey Aguilar with a pick 6. Q. You mentioned egg on someone's face earlier in the show. Is Josh Heupel going to feel like the biggest goofy in the sport letting Nico Iamaleava walk after they had a playoff run They took a playoff trip to Neyland North, and it was thwarted and stopped immediately by the Buckeyes, but they did make the playoffs. Do you think they're going to feel like big goofies letting Nico walk and feeling that they are bigger than a 5-star quarterback with what they had in their room?
I mean, I would say no. He didn't really have a choice. But I think at the end of the year, they're going to look back at it, and regardless of the success they have, we know Nico's talent. We know he needed to develop a little bit more, but we knew what that guy could be, especially under Josh Heupel. We said he may look back and say, man, if we had Nico, maybe if they don't win a natty or don't get to the Final Four, he may say, I feel like we really could have got there. But in another vein, you can't have a guy say, yeah, I know you paid me $8 million out of high school, but I need a Lambo truck to match my Lambo car. Like, I mean, there's only so much you can bend, and I feel like you can't have a guy, even in the NIL era. I mean, guys are bigger than the program by the amount they get paid, but you can't send that message.
Not here in Columbus. No one's bigger than the Blocko.
No one is. I'm just saying, maybe no one's bigger than the Big T, whatever they want to call it.
The Big T is crazy, bro. When you answer this in the chat, when you hear Big T, do you think of a giant jug of sweet tea, or do you think of a big T-shirt in the early 2000s when you hear Big T, or apparently Texas or Tennessee?
the Atlanta tall T era is back in town at Tennessee right now. So I mean,
that is an excellent merch idea, bro. Imagine if Tennessee came out with a tall Tennessee, and it's just a long ass early 2000s Atlanta tee with the giant Tennessee tee, the length of the T-shirt.
You can have the crowd. You have the crowd full of those. Like
that's what I'm saying. And did we just
everybody on orange out just sell tall tees? Yeah, those can't cost more than $3 to make.
You guys have swag surf. We lead with it and rock with it with our big tees on. That's a crazy giveaway, bro. We're giving away tall tees.
You're not a Tennessee fan. You have the Tennessee tall tee. Repping the big T in Tennessee. Like, I feel like some marketing you could do there. I can see it.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, Q, I'm probably gonna wrap the show to call my lawyer and figure out how we can get this thing going right now.
I can only imagine people just tune into the show and say, man, these guys barely talk about college football, but they're sure entertaining. We are off the rails.
Will you learn something? Maybe. Are you gonna laugh? Definitely. I mean, that's all we can promise you, a laugh.
But I will ask this question to you then. We talk about Tennessee regretting the decision. Nico's out in UCLA. Obviously, not the place to be for college football. Maybe college basketball, you might have a better shot. But
that's a lie. When's the last time they've done anything, bro? Lonzo Ball ain't walking through those doors.
Maybe Zach LaVine? I don't know.
But bro, you're wearing those Jello ball glasses from China right now.
Oh my god! Oh,
he risked it all for shades, just like that, bro.
Question is, do you think Nico will regret his decision going to UCLA for an extra Lambo truck?
As long as Tennessee misses the playoffs and he doesn't tank his draft stock, I feel like he wins. I feel like if UCLA goes 6-6 and he has draftable statistics, he won. His little brother's on the team. They're back in California instead of Tennessee now. Like, can you really lose if you're in LA and everybody else is in Knoxville?
You know, when you realize you're throwing to Spencer James, you really realize you're in trouble.
Bro, he's on season 45 in the NFL right now. He played longer. Spencer James played football longer than Jerry Rice.
They run those Spencer James routes. Here, Nico gonna be like, hey, Heupel, hey, dog, my fault, man. Look, I said some things. You said some things. None that we can't get past, though, right? Is the portal still open? It's always open. Am I correct?
Oh, man, that'll definitely be something for us to keep an eye on this season. Who wins? I feel like this is almost like the dollar store version of like Brady Belichick breaking up. It's like, all right, which one of them was really responsible for the success? Jesus, I almost died there. Which one's more responsible for the success? Is Nico Iamaleava going to show that he's still a talent that deserved the money at Tennessee, or is Tennessee showing that their program really is bigger than a 5-star quarterback? Or are they like, fingers crossed for Marshall Manning? Like, are they? Is that where the Tennessee program's at right now? We don't have a quarterback. We're just waiting for Peyton's son at this point.
Shoot, I don't know. The guy
2030. Q. Keep an eye out. Who's going to be? Put it on the poll. Who's going to be ranked higher? Marshall Manning, son of Peyton Manning, or Buckeye Roast legend Amari Thomas Green, 2030 legend.
It's already locked up. We already know who's number one. He's never
exactly, bro. Anybody that's been scouting the Little Dragons knows what's going on around here. Marshall Manning will be number 2.
Hey, what are those comparisons when recruits are coming up? He's Chase Young with more power.
I get Lawrence Taylor and Aaron Donald vibes.
He's Aaron Donald with a 4.4 speed. Like, you know,
Aaron Donald just taller.
Oh man, we will see. Put it down in the comments. Let us know.
Well, yeah, who you got? Number 1 prospect in 2030. But Q, we got to get out of here. But big news, man. Right after here, you don't have to leave Dead Air Sports, because right after the show wraps, you can watch Chris Drew and our guy Tyler McCormack on I-71. They'll be talking Ohio State, Cavs, Guardians, all things Cleveland, all things Ohio sports every Monday and Thursday right after the show. So you can stick around right after our show and watch Chris Drew, and then Chris Drew and Tyler. And then right after that, if you're a big Chris Drew fan, you got minutes after that. You got a 3-hour block on Mondays and Thursdays. You could watch all kinds of Buckeye content. Be sure to tune in. Stick around right here on Dead Air Sports for I-71 coming up right after this. Q, let the people know where they can find you.
If you didn't get enough of my nonsense and you want to see a little bit more of me, I am City Boy Quittin on Twitter, Find It Johnson on Instagram, and Dead Air Sports Monday through Friday with my guy Ron. Ron, let them know where they can find you at.
Saturdays, you can find Q in those streets for 2 more weeks before he has to start at least watching one college football game in the morning. Like Q's always like, man, these Buckeye games really mess up my Saturday drinking. And I'm like, Q, the game starts at 9. What are we talking about?
1 hour too late. You know, this is so off topic, but have you ever seen that college football spoof movie? What is it? I forget the name of it. I'll remember it. I'll put it in the comments.
You're not a big movie guy?
Oh, I'm very small. I hate to watch him. But he goes on this recruiting visit to get this quarterback, right? The coach does. And the dad is just slamming down beers. He's just slamming down. He's like, Mr. Johnson, have you always drank this much? He was like, no, man. One time I was sober for 11 years. Like, what happened? I turned 12. Oh, man. All-time great spoof movie. I'll remember the name, but it's hilarious.
No, I mean, you'll have the rest of the season to figure it out and get back to everybody else and let us know the name of that one.
I think it's the comebacks. That's it. The comebacks. That's what it's called.
The comebacks. See, it came back to you. If you want to find me, you can find me right here on Dead Air Sports Monday through Friday with Q, talking all things Buckeyes throughout the season at 8 a.m. You can catch me in the Bleacher Report app Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays after the game once the season starts. And yeah, you can catch me on Twitter at 2Ts. It's 2_TES. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you stick around for Chris and Tyler on the I-71 rundown. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. You know how this thing goes. It's always go Bucks. And of course, OH-IO.
Example, when things get hard in life, you just keep swinging as hard as you can, you fight. That's our culture.
I promised you we had a plan. Remember that we talked about a plan? The plan was infallible. Part of that infallible plan is getting the team prepared, ready to go, so when we start practice, our coaches know what we got. And there's not one person in America I trusted more than Coach Mick and that staff. Think about this. 130 teams either today, they report, or they've already reported. 130. 16 weeks from now, there's going to be one champion. One champion in our conference, one champion on the side of our conference. And in the country, one team's going to do this. Not 36, not 48, not 44. One. That tells you how hard it is to be a